Claw, Feudal Educator Clay. So the other day I sat down and automated my uh, instructor workflow, and I converted into a framework that could be used right away directly on your computer without any kind of token usage or anything like that. Okay, I mean without excessive token usage. Still, there's some minor token usage once you download it and use the Feudal Educator Clay. You'll be able to uh, pretty much have entire micro university or micro organization directly at your fingertips. So let's say if you are instructor working for continuing education as a continuing education instructor uh, for university, and you have other staff members who are kind of like working with you, sending you information about students, like somebody prefers hybrid versus online or vice versa, or like or many of those nuances. When you start communicating with like all of those faculties, you get all sorts of nuances. Some of those nuances are very important, and other nuances are kind of not so important. So the idea is like your Openclaw agent is able to kind of filtrate through some of those nuances fairly easy and have it all available in the CLI. So this is what I cooked up. I cooked up Clay, Feudal Educator Clay with Openclaw. So think of it as a spider web framework that just kind of hovers on top of your existing workflows. So whether you're instructor, teacher, professor, a parent who is teaching somebody, or a coach, you simply apply this Feudal Educator Clay, and then the rest is just smooth sailing, because the clay does the rest. It onboards you, it gives you like all the details about what to do when you're starting out as a instructor or an educator or any other kind of identity type of person. It walks you through the process and gives you the tea, and not just the tea, but it gives you the entire workflow, Google Classroom based workflow. Uh, it orchestrates it and makes it easier for you to prepare lessons. So what this Feudal Educator Clay does, it saves at least 200 hours for me on just one class in university, just one class throughout the semester. The saving comes from the amount of time it takes to prepare the lesson, the amount of time to prepare quizzes like slides, and grading, and kind of creating specific interactive exercises in Zoom. So like savings comes from that. Thank you guys for joining, and yeah, I figured I'd just take you guys with me, and and talk about one of those kind of, man, I gave it a word to this because it's almost impossible to describe. I gave it a word like a clay, something that just glues together my workflows, but makes it possible for anybody like who's a teacher, professor, instructor, maybe college or university coordinator or director, or any type of faculty member, or anybody who's teaching online, maybe a talent agency or some sort of organization. So I created like a quick way to no. So I created like a quick way to pretty much just like build your own, prepare for the lesson, that kind of stuff, any kind of lesson. So um, what I did is I combined Google Classroom together with like everything that Google has to offer, plus students that I teach in university over Zoom, I basically, like, the best way I could describe it, took all of those systems, combined them um, into Openclaw with Gemini CLI, and made it stupid simple for me to pretty much have operational intelligence on lesson. So that's basically what I did. And yeah, it's pretty dope. If you want to use it, it's only available for students in my coaching program and my talent agency. So if you're like a teacher and going to use it, it will save you incredible amount of time. On one class alone, it saves me over 200 hours. If you are somebody who has a bunch of classes that you're teaching, then it's going to be more than 200 hours savings easy. And my rate is really expensive. So because I do multiple side hustles, so any savings that I get out of it is like gold, gold for me. um, yeah, guys, yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. And when you build any kind of software, just make sure that it's applicable to whoever is going to use it, not just you, but like whoever is going to use it. So when I built it, at first it started out just with me, who kind of figured out like, hey, how can I create lessons and quizzes and like to just be ready. I don't really want to have to be studying or like I don't really want to have to, I don't have time to be grading students' work. I just want AI to grade everything automatically and prepare lessons and just tell me like if I'm ready or not to teach for example today I'm gonna. All I gotta do is it just logs in and and tells me, like, I mean, right before the class, it tells me, hey, I noticed that you are not ready. I'm gonna go ahead and prepare everything for you, all the slides, all the quizzes, grounded based on the syllabus. Uh, yeah, and, I don't have to do anything. I just go online and make money. I mean, when I did that, I didn't really think of it from this perspective. I just kind of thought, like, man, how can I just save time a little bit? But later it turns into like, oh my God, wait a second. I could actually convert that into a fully fledged micro university and hand it off to um, anybody who want to use it. That clay. Nice. Yeah, I'm getting some coffee. Well, actually, you know, I don't know why I brought my coffee with me. Honestly, yesterday, guys, I was running in the city for, man, my day yesterday in the city was crazy. I would go, I would go in the city, run around, walk there for 30 minutes, there 30 minutes back, then the train, then like on the train I ride extensive. On the train I do something that is impossible for anybody to do, like who is not in the mindset of spawning money like during the time when there's no signal. If you don't have that mindset, then you will have no idea like how to do this. But what I do on the train, I create prompts. My train ride is about an hour, so for entire hour I would be sitting there creating a prompt. So what the prompt allows me to do, it kind of so for example, yesterday I created a prompt that um, takes this entire thing with the clay that kind of wraps around anybody's use case, whether you're a teacher, instructor. While I was in train, I created a prompt to build the entire university, meaning like the way universities work, they have people, and I kind of joined one of the universities, learned everything about it, and kind of took whatever the manual processes that they have and just built the Openclaw agent. But before building it, I had to like conceptualize every single details from top to bottom in a horizontal nature. That's how my brain works. It's vector based. So I think of from bottom to top, from top to bottom, in a horizontal and multidimensional vector spaces. So that I was able to carry over because I'm a really good writer. I was able to carry that over in a way that doesn't exist anywhere. I cross-check when I do anything. I cross-check with ChatGPT to see if whatever the ideas that I'm adding exist, was if anybody touched them, and check for probability, and double down on what doesn't exist. And LLMs love that completely. So during the train ride, I spent about an hour there and an hour back creating prompts. While I walked to the city, I spend time creating content. Um, while creating that content, I walk doing TikToks and describe what I did with Openclaw and for my talent agency, that kind of stuff. Then what I do is I bridge multiple worlds, multiple socials together using like a bunch of workflows that are already like all CLI driven. They're not even, I try not even to use any MCPs or anything like this. Yeah, can I? Another thing that I discovered works really well is like when you start building. When I started building clay, um, I kind of wanted to create a spider web that can be kind of dropped on top of any kind of um, any kind of identity, sort of like a blanket that you kind of throw over any kind of person, instructor, professor, teacher, um, and so this way they don't really have to think too much about uh, teaching about any of those technical things that they need to do in order to increase learning effectiveness for their students, and instead they get to just focus on like being them, having fun with students, and teaching their subject matter expertise while having like almost like a second brain uh, that talks to them, that analyzes quizzes in real time and looks at the memory, students' memory from previous sessions, and interlaces them um, together in the real-time live sessions from previous sessions, and correlates them to whatever is in the syllabus to make sure that uh, students' learning effectiveness is grounded based on the overall syllabus. That is, like in my case, I'm preparing for Network Plus uh, CompTIA exam. So that's the subject matter expertise. So when I construct the clay, this is rarely talked about anywhere, guys, by the way. If you do it this way, what I'm describing, the way I'm describing the workflow, if you approach any kind of AI automation when you build it this way, if you build it in from the perspective of from top to bottom, from bottom to top, and multidimensional vector-based thinking, then you'll be able to like build something that people are going to be interested in purchasing from you, and you're going to have a bigger market for that if you do it this way. If you do it in traditional way, where um, yeah, thank you. If you build anything traditional way, then the bar is so high now. Anybody could just say, well, why should I use your solution when I could just use Cloud Code? So um, this is why when I build anything, I think in from top to bottom, from bottom to top, and from horizontal, like left and right, and diagonal ways. Think of it as a vector-based thinking. This is I only met few people in the world who have vector-based thinking. That was one of the students in cybersecurity who I came across. He was building lots of ships on YouTube, and he was taking cybersecurity class. He didn't really like all he was doing is just playing ships. Yet he would uh, still outgun every other student. And out of all the other 40 students that I was teaching, I decided to like explore his brain to figure out like what is so different about this student. I discovered he had vector-based, extremely intelligent style of thinking that like it could be a curse and it could be also a significant blessing when you have that type of thinking. And I have it, you guys. Now, uh, why could it be a curse? It could be a curse because you will feel like everybody should understand your complex brain, and as a result, you get isolated. So what I discovered helped me was to divide my intelligence by 1,000. So anything, let's say I'm building this clay that's sort of like a blanket that you throw on top of the overall use cases or overall identities. And by the way, there's identities, there's themes, there's personalities, there's all of those elements that are in play. And like, if I had to explain to anybody like how to develop that thinking, I'd say just install Gemini CLI and literally like seed this YouTube video into it, and pretty much just say, hey, look, I want to learn from Ron Wells how to create this clay, but for my use case, for my set of identities and use cases, for the type of people that I'm trying to build a solution for. And it will guide you, will walk you through the process, and you'll start developing that vector-based thinking. Now, something of mine, not a lot of people come across anything strong. Um, the first time I discovered that I could think like this happened to me when, like, early in my life, I realized, wow, holy smokes, I can't believe this. Like, I can think like this, but other people can't. I thought everybody could think like that. But later I realized, no, that not everybody can think like that. That realization came to me like as a shock. And later I realized, oh my God, I need to divide my intelligence by 1,000. And I tried it out with the recent update in TikTok algorithm. I tried out dividing my intelligence by 1,000 and creating a small sliver of this Feudal Educator clay. I'm using kind of a variable-based language while communicating with you. I'm using the word terminology that is kind of making it hard for you to understand. But at the same time, like once you start feeding that into AI, it will understand, and you will get that greater level of learning effectiveness than from anywhere else. So when I kind of use some of those words that are a bit unfamiliar, immediately tap into them, guys. Open up Notebook Command, use my clay, which by the way I don't give out to anybody. It's something part of my coaching program, Feudal Incubator. And but if you get access to it, basically what happens is you can use it for any kind of use case for organization or educational use case, specifically building lessons, conforming conforming to standards of university and their missions. Because at the end of the day, if you don't like do well for university, you're not going to get really good jobs. And the university's missions are all kind of grounded upon helping students succeed, that kind of stuff. And there's many that are rooted deep within the mission of the university. What I did is I extracted those elements and created like the spider web, this clay that glues those like eccentric details and nuances from multiple identities, university and all of their like faculties. Not a lot of faculties, but like specifically what I'm doing specifically as instructor, specifically as me being continuing education teacher. And what I did is I extrapolated the people who I work with, which is, there's a director, there's a coordinator, there's another person who's in charge of like keeping student communications. And I kind of glued all those people together and converted their minds into uh, Openclaw agents. And then I created a simulation layer to simulate like where basically the way I could describe to you is those faculty members they move in cohorts. They have bonuses. They have things that like if they do well, they will help students more. They will get promoted. There's just so many mechanics that are tied into it. So there's many reasonings why they would want to like support you as an instructor.
but they moved together like a almost like a gamified cohort of freedom founders, like I describe in my talent agency. Whenever you try to promote something and like you get crickets, this is where you get help from gamified freedom founders who literally elevate your offer. But in the university, similar thing plays out with faculties who are like fighting for you to get things going to make sure that you succeed as an instructor, and you like teach students, and sometimes students reach out and they're like, oh, I don't want online, I don't like online, I want hybrid. Can I get my money back? Like all of those nuances that I just described, I went ahead. I didn't want to think about those nuances as instructor. I just wanted to teach and make money. And uh, by like thinking, how can I do that? How can I still achieve the goal of helping students finally like succeed and while at the same time I'm just making money? I had to like I just said, you know what? Like those people sending me emails telling me something about the student. Why do I need to know that? I don't really need to know that. Send that to my AI. Then it's gonna bake everything into my quizzes lessons. So whenever whenever I go live on Zoom, I can reinforce that automatic cruise control with this Telegram bot from Openclaw telling me what to say at a specific time period as I'm navigating through the slides. So that's what I did. I built that play. It didn't take long guys to build it, but you could apply it. This is not something you can grab from ChatGPT or wipe code your way through. This is something that is extremely personalized to the level of me being the instructor, but it also made it possible for you to like tap into this clay and throw it like a blanket on top of your use cases if you're instructor, teacher, professor. So this way you don't have to spend time like, oh, am I prepared for today's lesson? Oh, wait, I don't really have any quizzes I need to create manually. No, forget about all that. It all gets created automatically. It gets published into Google Classroom and becomes available to you. It gets published in the draft and then published to students at the time of need automatically by the agent. And it it connects to all those things like Google Classroom, Google Forms, Google Sheets, Google Slides, create speaker notes, all on Cruise Control. Uh, Next thing I'll look to do is I'll build a curriculum builder so you could apply that clay for pretty much any kind of subject matter expertise. Plus, it evaluates the main area of progress for whatever the subject matter of expertise, and understands like who is who, which student is who, what they how are they doing, how are they compared to the overall university rubric metric, etc., 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 etc. My soul has been consumed by Satan. Oh, well, you know what? And sometimes, there's church. Sometimes there's, sometimes there's other things you got to do. But yeah, guys, look. Um, anyways, I'm gonna get that muffin. I'm gonna get going. Um, uh, I'm ready to go, and I got some coffee. And guys, look, if you want access to that clay, uh, take a look at my TikTok how I built it. Uh, Follow on my TikTok, you're gonna see I literally built it. And of course, like if you want it for yourself, so you can say
on your classes, DM the word path on my Insta, link in bio. And yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy what I was able to do with this. At first, I didn't really think much about it, but then next thing you know, I mean, sheesh, I got to the point where I was using variable based prompting, which is like next level prompting. This is the type of prompting that you'd only dream of. This is the type of prompting where you like talk to uh, GPT, like ChatGPT or whatever, and you use words that that already been defined earlier, and those words become really strong. Anyway,